Hey guys, today I'm going to explain episode number 13 of Miss Night and Day Season 1. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, you'll find the link in the description. At the beginning of the episode, we see Jaeyoung bringing Mijan home and opening the car door. Mijan says there's no need to do this, but Jaeyoung says they are a couple now, or aren't they? We kissed and everything is clear. Mijan covers his mouth and tells him to be quiet, saying her parents might hear, and they need to keep it a secret. Jaeyoung asks how long they need to keep it secret. Mijan thinks to herself that it will be until she becomes normal, and later tells Jaeyoung that they will make it official when things get better. Jaeyoung agrees and assures her that he will keep his promise to protect her, asking her to trust him. Later, Mijan returns home, and her mother asks her why Jaeyoung was there. Mijan says he just gave her a lift. Just then, Pran enters, and Mijan asks him where he was. Pran replies he was out getting food. Jaeyoung recalls that he had heard everything and was about to reveal what he saw, but Mijan stops him and directs the conversation elsewhere. Mijan returns to her room, and outside, Match is seen arguing with Asin, hurting his arm as he screams. Mijan hears the commotion from her room and apologizes to her father for causing trouble. In the next scene, we see Jaeyoung with Mason and Wind as they notice Mason texting on her phone, appearing very happy. Jaeyoung seems happy too, leaving Wind confused about what's going on. Jaeyoung tells Rishi that he completed the task, and Rishi responds that the task was supposed to be done by Mason, but she agrees to take it on if necessary. Jaeyoung tells her to take her time, and there's no need to rush. Later, Samson goes outside and sees someone who surprises her. She looks again, but the person is gone. Koan, who was hiding, approaches her and asks why she's avoiding him. Koan asks if it's because he confessed that he likes her. Mason hushes him, leads him outside, and explains that she couldn't tell him she likes someone else. Koan tells her he knows, and Mason says, "You are a star. Why would you be interested in someone like me?" She says she feels very uncomfortable, but Koan insists she's beautiful. Mason doesn't respond and walks away. The next scene shows Jaeyoung smiling, and Wind asks why he's been smiling all day. Jaeyoung dismisses it as nothing. They go to eat, and Wind asks again if something good happened, but Jaeyoung doesn't reveal anything. While setting up, Mijan wonders to herself if she should call Jaeyoung, but she remembers that she left her phone at the office earlier when she came home. Later, we see Jaeyoung and Wind in the office when a call comes on Mijan's phone. Jaeyoung answers it, and it turns out to be a call from Gang, asking for Mijan. Jaeyoung says that her phone isn't with her, confirming by calling Mijan's number from his phone, realizing that Mijan's phone is indeed with them. In the next scene, Mijan sneaks into the office to get her phone. As she gets it, Jaeyoung comes in, and she hides. Jaeyoung receives a call, giving Mijan a chance to escape. As she leaves, Jaeyoung notices the door moving slightly and sees Mijan asking what she's doing there. Mijan says she came to see him, and Jaeyoung asks if that's true. He then invites her to his office, suggesting they could have dinner together if she had informed him earlier. Mijan says it's okay, and later notices where Asun usually sits. Jaeyoung tells her which seat is whose, and Mijan asks if she can sit in Asun's seat. Jaeyoung agrees, and as Mijan sits there, she notices some specific details. Wind comes in and asks Mijan what she's doing there. Jaeyoung explains that she was wandering around, so he brought her inside. Wind has brought cake for everyone, and they all start eating. There's a moment where Mijan seems to know exactly where the spoons are kept and recalls Wind's comment about diabetes from eating too much cake. Wind asks how she knew about his father's diabetes, and Mijan claims she just guessed. In the next scene, Mijan and Jaeyoung are outside, and Mijan tells him she always wanted to visit that place. Jaeyoung says he will wait for her to let him know what she wants to do next. Mijan assures Jaeyoung that she is someone he can trust completely, and they share a hug. Later, Jaeyoung and Wind find out that Cholg funded the Nalco deli. They bring Cholg in for questioning, asking who he sold fentanyl to, noting that the sample matches his. They offer a lighter sentence if he cooperates, but Cholg refuses, saying he has nothing to lose and wants to talk to Mason. In the next scene, Mason arrives and turns off a mic. Jaeyoung tells her he heard Mijan came to meet him earlier. Mason asks if he believes her. Chulg says even if he did, how could they catch the criminal? Mason recalls a scene where the perpetrator appeared before Mijan and left a distinct smell, suggesting she could identify him by scent, and offering to testify even if it risks her safety. The following scene shows everyone in the office, and Mason brings a list Chulg provided indicating who received fentanyl. Jae-young asks why Chulg gave the list easily. Mason explains they worked together for years, and she knows him well. We see a flashback of Mason teaching Mijan how to ride a bicycle, which ends with Mijan falling and Chulg helping her. He comments on Mijan resembling her aunt, Mason. Later, the news about fentanyl spreads. Malada receives a call with information that the boy she asked about is Jae-young. Malada finds Jae-young and tells him he needs to share something important. Malada talks to Jae-young, explaining how he tracked Chulg using parking sensors. In a flashback, Chulg fell, and Malada helped him, but Chulg used his other hand. In the present, Jae-young calls Padilla to check Chulg's medical records. Malada watches and comments on Jae-young's growth. Jae-young finds that Chulg truly has parking sensors and couldn't have committed the crime, proving someone else is responsible. Jae-young meets Jae and tells him Chulg isn't the criminal. Jae questions this change of opinion, having earlier demanded a warrant for Chulg. Jae-young explains Chulg's parking sensor condition makes it impossible for him to move, let alone commit a crime. They suspect another culprit. Meanwhile, Mason discusses the case with Chain, who shares insights about a potential senior involved in hiding their identity. Mason keeps an eye on the office interactions, especially between Chain and Jae-young. Win suggests they eat out, but Mason insists Jae-young and the others join them, ordering some food. At night, Mijan is seen crying at home, looking at her phone, and wondering if Jae-young is busy at work. Just then, Jae-young calls and asks if she's asleep, suggesting they meet outside for a bit. Mijan asks if he's not working, but Jae-young says he's coming over. Mijan steps out and meets Jae-young, who remarks that he disturbed her sleep. Mijan tells him not to worry about her sleep, and Jae-young replies that he just wanted to see her, so he wouldn't have to search for her in his dreams. They hug and Jae-young asks what her plans are for the weekend. Mijan says she has none, so Jae-young suggests they go out for lunch. But Mijan abruptly declines, saying they can't go in the afternoon. Jae-young proposes 5 p.m., but Mijan insists on 7 p.m. Jae-young agrees and leaves, while Mijan ponders why she avoided a daytime meeting. In the next scene, Jae-young visits Soo at the office, asking about Mijan, who's known to avoid daylight and has no daytime job. Soo dismisses his concerns, saying couples shouldn't meddle too much in each other's affairs. Jae-young clarifies they are not officially dating, but Soo says Mijan told her they plan to go out. Jae-young reflects on how Mijan wanted to keep their relationship secret, leaving him puzzled about her actions. Jae-young returns home to Bad and discusses Mijan's behavior, saying it's strange she won't go out during the day. Bad decides to investigate. Meanwhile, Gain is with Himsun, expressing similar concerns about Jae-young's odd behavior. Gain advises honesty, but Himsun fears repercussions if her secrets are revealed. Later, Gain alerts Himsun that Bad is nearby. Himsun hides as Gain talks to Bad, who claims to be delivering food since they're neighbors. As they chat, Himsun struggles to stay hidden and eventually excuses herself to the restroom. Bad and Gain share a meal, exchanging glances, while Himsun tries to remain unnoticed. Jae-young arrives, and Bad asks what he saw earlier. Bad recalls spotting Mijan sneaking out as the sun rose, prompting Jae-young to check nearby footage, revealing Mijan leaving with Mason's bicycle. Meanwhile, Chulg, in jail, remembers Mijan mentioning a smell during their first encounter, suggesting she might identify the criminal by scent. Gain advises patience, as Mason urges her to wait. Mason reveals that Bad is already married, shocking. In the next, we see everyone in the office, and Choni arrives, telling Jeev that she needs to talk to him. She suggests they go out for coffee. They both leave, and Mijin watches them. In the next scene, they are talking, and Choni tells Jeev that she has seen the fentanyl list. It's similar to the one she saw earlier, but it's completely different from what's in the files. This was a deal made 20 years ago when a crisis occurred. Mijin notices them and kicks the copy machine to get Jeev away from Choni. It works, and Jeev comes back to Himsun to help her. Meanwhile, Mijin keeps glancing at Choni. Next, we see Koan in the office, watching Mala, who is placing a letter. Mijin notices Koan, who is secretly following Mala. After placing the letter, Mala leaves, and Koan continues watching. However, Apsun arrives and asks what's going on. Koan hadn't revealed himself before. Later, Apsun reads the letter, which states that there's a senior officer hiding their identity. Apsun asks why Koan didn't inform her earlier. Koan explains that he wanted to protect her, which is why he stayed silent. He mentions observing a woman cleaning the office for days. Later, Mijin approaches the cleaning woman and shows her the letter, asking why she left it there. The woman admits that someone instructed her to place it there, threatening her with job termination if she didn't comply. Mijin reassures her, saying that nothing will happen to her, but asks her to reveal who ordered her to do this. The woman eventually discloses the information. In the following scene, Koan is shown, along with Apsun, arriving at a location. Koan tells Mijin that he will accompany her, but she declines his offer. Mijin looks at an address and arrives at a house. She knocks, and a woman answers the door. Mijin shows her the letter and asks if she sent it. The woman claims she has nothing to say, and begins to leave. Suddenly, Mijin accuses her of sending the letter to talk to her. The woman asks who Mijin is, and Mijin introduces herself. The woman invites her inside and reveals that a significant injustice happened to her. She was supposed to get a job in the office, but someone else took it instead. That's why she wrote the letter about someone hiding their identity. Mijin asks who it is, and the woman points to a photo identifying Mala. Mijin responds that this is Tokay, but the woman insists that the person's name is not Tokay. The episode ends here. So guys, see you in episode 14, which is coming out tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.